The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It's important to exercise your emotional intelligence and mindset in any way, shape, or form that you're ultimately needing to grow. The only way you're going to overcome challenges and that you're going to achieve clarity in your life is by having a growth mindset and practicing emotional intelligence. What if I told you that if you took one small step today and taking action on anything that you're looking to achieve in life, in your career, for your family, for your relationship, whatever that is, one step today, and in 6 months, 8 months, a year, you then look back at what you achieved and accomplished after taking that one small step, that your life will be transformed tremendously and you'll see what's called growth. What if? Welcome to Coaching for Millennials. My name is Jose Miguel Longo. I am your host. Today's podcast episode is one where I am merging together some ideas, some concepts, I'm thinking through all the things that have really come to mind when it comes to this. But for me, it comes down to mindset. It comes down to emotional intelligence. It comes down to gaining clarity. A lot of juicy, amazing golden nuggets. So let me break this down for you. I had been thinking about creating an episode where I'm taking a lot of the parts that I do in coaching to share with an audience that potentially maybe has listened to the podcast and needs some advice and needs some more of that extra push. And or for people who have never listened to the podcast before and you're just joining us now on this journey with us, you need to hear what it is that I'm sharing. And the reason I'm doing this is because if you've listened to season 1, season 2, or maybe the one or two episodes of what was season 3, you may find that there's a theme and pattern with what I do in the podcast. Obviously, the name of the podcast is called Coaching. Having said that, I like to bring people on a journey, and I like to give people an opportunity to use the time that they're spending with me to walk through learning something new. This is a how-to guide, ultimately. It's your ultimate how-to guide on gaining clarity and taking action while getting actionable steps to overcome challenges and achieve your goals. Wow, where did that come from? Woo! Yeah, I'm just feeling it today. There was just a vibe. I've been thinking about this. I feel like this is coming from a heart. This is coming from the soul, and I've been working really hard on putting together content that I can share for free, such as a freebie or a lead magnet that can drive people to my website, which it's almost done. I mean, this website revamp, rebrand, all the shazamming things, I don't know what to call it, I'm excited for. So this episode will be merged into a free guide that will be actionable with an exercise that's step by step that talks about mindset and emotional intelligence and how to overcome, how to gain clarity in things. So let's dive in. Let me stop kind of introducing things and just kind of go for it. So many people who come to me because they're stuck and they're looking for a way to get to where they want to go, but oftentimes they don't know where they are and they don't know where they want to go. And for me, I'm not saying this because I'm thriving on someone else's challenges. I'm saying this because my gifts and my talents are to help people get unstuck are to help people get to the other side, are to help people achieve clarity and create a roadmap and design a roadmap that ultimately leads them to get to their goals. And through coaching, um, we uncover what those goals are. We uncover where you want to go. And this is from all paths of life. So this is people who are coming for they're a job changer or a career or a job seeker. This is people who are really stuck in their life and they feel like they're failing or they're not sure where to go, or they've been impacted by a traumatic event that they're looking for really clarity on how do they move forward, or they're just not really feeling fulfilled in what they're doing in their lives and they're feeling like they need to make a change, but they're not sure how. Those are the kinds of people that come to me. Now, I don't just talk to or see millennials when it comes to my coaching practice. I actually see people from all different walks of life and different ages. I welcome everyone. I am that person for everyone. When it comes to the podcast, I just happen to be a millennial, and I feel like us millennials have been through it. And when it comes to seeing the historic things that have happened in my lifetime that have impacted me as an individual, impacted how I live my life and how my life has changed and how my life has transformed, I resonate with that. And I always want to talk about it because we're a generation of people who our parents lived with much less than what we have, but also made leaps and bounds in their lives because it was so affordable to live the way they lived, even though in some way, shapes, or form, they had less. Anyways, I digress. That's for a whole different podcast episode. So let's get to the root or the cause of what we're here for. Today, I want to help you get unstuck. I want to help you get focus, and I want to help you design how you can gain clarity in overcoming obstacles, stay focused on your goals, and regardless of whether you're facing challenges in your personal life and your careers, today it's about strategizing and being able to be empowered to take action. Any step is a step forward in the right direction, and these steps are intended to help you focus and getting fulfilled in your life. Now, the first thing I want to do is talk about overcoming life and career obstacles. And when I say life and career obstacles, this is just in general, but you need to identify for yourself what is the obstacle that you're facing. So in this case, I would say bring your pen and paper because now you need to take notes. This is where the fun of it all comes in. When we talk about overcoming obstacles, we have to identify what the challenges that we're facing are. This requires some reflection. This requires to look at what it is that's hitting you in the face, that's causing you to be in this place, that's causing you to not feel like you're getting clarity. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, now that you have your pen and paper, and hopefully I've given you enough time, or I've rambled enough to have you enough time to go get it. Write down what are your challenges so that you can gain a clearer perspective of what these challenges are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take steps to identify and develop an action plan. Now, in this action plan, what I want you to do is break down the challenges into more manageable steps. What do I mean by that? This means that if you're being challenged by not finding a job, or if you're being challenged by your relationship, or if you're being challenged by your family, or if you're being challenged by just yourself because you can't get out of your way, think of the things that are causing you to feel this way, but write down one, what it is, and then put like a bullet or use letters like A, B, and C to get deeper into what that is. We want to make these really manageable to really look at what it is that's getting you into this space and creating this challenge for you. Now, when we talk about focusing on small steps, what we want to do is really look at what it is that you can reflect on that got you to where you are. Sometimes, if we're able to go back a little bit to see where this challenge started from, we're able to consider and identify what are the factors, whether they're internal factors or external factors, that are leading us to where we are today. When you write this down, this is going to help you get a clearer perspective on being able to organize your thoughts, but also organize how these challenges are ultimately needing to be, I don't want to say attacked, because that's the first word that comes to mind for me, but ultimately needing to be, let's say, like peel back like a layers of an onion. So now that we are in the process of developing an action plan for how to overcome these obstacles and challenges, you want to be able to divide them into even smaller steps, even smaller obstacles. Because when we are able to then look at those things on a more critical lens, we can then get a realistic observation of what this is. So, a couple of things to note here is that we want to focus on ensuring that when we look at these particular obstacles, that we can then attach what action we're going to take to overcome them. But we don't want to create a big action that's long term. We want to take small steps that are consistent towards achieving the goal to get you to where you want to be. So, for example, let's say that you're trying to create a better line of communication in your relationship. So that's the challenge. You're challenged by your relationship because of communication. Okay, great. Now, what is it about that part of your relationship when it comes to communication that you feel challenged by? So sometimes people will share that their significant other doesn't listen to them, or their significant other talks over them. Okay, so that's two there. Now we've broken down from the beginning of like that you have issues with your relationship, to now understanding that it's communication issues, to now understanding that your partner, your significant other, doesn't listen, and then they speak over you. So taking that a step further, how would you identify a way that you would want to move forward from being able to change this behavior with your partner? What is it that you think you could kind of do, or I was going to say take advantage of, but what you can kind of do to help your partner understand what you're feeling and how you're feeling challenged by them? I would say in this case, because they don't listen to you and because they talk over you, maybe you could write a letter. And this is the part of where you're taking a small step to get you to where you want to go. And in your letter, you're going to share with your partner that, you're feeling anxious and stressed about the communication in your relationship. Okay, that's one. Next, you want to tell them that what I'm feeling anxious and stressed about is the fact that every time we're talking, you don't listen to what I'm sharing with you. You're not feeling like you're getting the attention and the love. And when you do talk to each other, you're talking over each other. Sometimes finding a different way to communicate with your significant other that's not necessarily a verbal format can get you to a place where you can go deeper into your feelings and thoughts to share what it is you want that person to know. If you're finding that your communication isn't where you want it to be and you're struggling to really share how that is, it's not good to hold those feelings in, because then you start to hold resentment and then you just become angry. So being able to try and find a way to share what it is that's really frustrating you over the communication is looking for a way that you can communicate to them. And writing a letter is a great way to communicate with somebody, because then that's in writing and you're actually able to develop more your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings around this particular issue. Now, obviously, once you give this to the person, hopefully that leads to a conversation, and the conversation that can help you take action over identifying what to do next so that you don't continue to have this in your relationship. Now, there could be quite a few different ways that you can decide in your letter what you want to share and how you want to take action besides the post letter delivery conversation. You could write in your letter that perhaps we go to couples therapy, or perhaps we seek a mediator that can help us overcome some of the challenges we have in our communication. I will also say that this is all healthy and this is all common in most relationships, because you get to a point in a relationship where sometimes people are just comfortable. And once you get into that place where like things are just organically in a place where it's just every single day nature, you can get overwhelmed by communicating with your significant other. So I'm going to shift back to like what we're talking about here and not going deep into relationship issues, but that would be a way to kind of overcome that. That's an example. So to recap this, creating a plan, break the actionable items or the issues into smaller obstacles that are manageable tasks, create smart goals for each task to ensure that they're achievable. In this case, we're using a letter to write to the person. And then it's also helpful to write a timeline of when you want to start taking this action, of when you want it to be completed. So it's really important that you take this opportunity while you're doing this exercise or while you're actually doing this for yourself, that you start to reflect in how you're helping yourself and be more aware and gain more clarity in where you want to go, particularly in this instance in your relationship. So moving on to the next thing to kind of get us to where we want to go is talking about leveraging your mindset and emotional intelligence. Now, mindset and emotional intelligence are very different. With mindset, this is more about you understanding how you think about specific things that ultimately are helping you in your life, in your career. They're also particularly around how you envision things and how you perceive things and how you actually look at the world. The mindset you carry is ultimately a reflection of how you respond to things, how you actually accomplish certain tasks and achieve things, and how you actually live your life. A lot of the times when I'm working with clients, I go deep into the mindset practice because I sometimes have to go to a place of how did you get here and what led you to this place? And what was the mindset that you were carrying in that journey to get us so that we're more aware around our emotions? Emotions and mindset are very attached. When you start practicing emotional intelligence, which is part of emotional awareness, you're then able to shift your mindset. So the two kind of go hand in hand. But what's really important is that we always want to live in a place of a growth mindset. We don't want to sit in a place where we have negative energy that's hindering us from being able to see possibilities. If we go back to my original statement from the beginning where I said, what if you took one step? That's me using the power of emotional intelligence and a power of affirmation and mindset to help you see and envision a picture of where if you took some actionable steps today, where could you possibly be? You want to envision that potential for yourself. I always use this podcast as an example because sometimes we have to practice and do things that make us really uncomfortable and get out of our own comfort zone and overcome some fears that we have to get to where we want to be. When I launched this podcast in 2020, I had been talking about podcasting for almost a decade prior. And I did a lot of talking, but no action. And I think a lot of it was I was uncomfortable because I felt like it was easier to say, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast, rather than actually doing it and not worrying so much about how I was going to do it than just starting it. We need to use our abilities and use the fear that we have to push us through to get to where we want to be. That mindset shift that I had to move from saying, you know what, I actually want to do this. I actually want to take this time and take this opportunity that took me almost a decade to get to actually bring this to life for myself. What could I do and how, if I do it today, let's use that example. If I do it today, where would I be 4 years from now? Like, to say that 4 years ago, I did this in a hotel room after drinking nearly a bottle of wine and just kind of messing with my head over what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? Look at where I am today. And that goes the same for anything else. I remind myself constantly of the mindset that I want to be in to get to where I want to be. I'm removing negative energy and removing negative thoughts and going into a place of positive affirmation and positive thought process to take me to where I want to be. You can manifest anything you want in your life. It is truth. This is not a joke. This is a real thing. Now, when we talk about cultivating a growth mindset, we're leading this from embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, and we're replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations. So how do we do this? We want to practice emotional awareness that we use to understand where our emotions are coming from. So this takes some time because you need to understand what are your emotions and what triggers them. And when we talk about mindfulness and we talk about that mindset, there's a technique that you need to start to be more aware of how do you stay present and calm. So a lot of this comes into how do you create a space and a sense of focus so you can stay motivated for yourself. You want to be able to set clear and achievable goals when it comes to your mindset, but also understand the emotions that are attached to what that goal is. You also want to visualize, like I said in the beginning, what if you did and what do you see? You want to visualize how you can stay motivated on track. So, one thing I could use as an example in this instance would be my oh my goodness, my manifestation or my side hustle manifest business. This is my digital marketing business. I could see the growth, the potential that this business has. I can see where I want to go. It wasn't into literally 3 weeks ago that I started to get deeper clarity in where I wanted to go in this business that I'm trying to start and I'm kind of starting or started. Um, and it took me a long time, maybe not a long time, but it took me a good month and a half to get to where I am today from where I started originally with the idea because I still wasn't clear on what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do it. And that takes time and it takes patience. So, all that to say is that you need to be able to cultivate a sense of understanding, a sense of what the goal is, be able to set clear, achievable goals, identify the focus, stay motivated on track, and visualize. Create a vision board, create whatever that looks like. So, when we talk about understanding the difference between mindset and emotional intelligence, it's critical that both of these are part of personal growth. By being able to develop emotional intelligence and a growth mindset, you can transform your life into becoming a positive person and a high performing individual. When we talk about mindset, this refers to the belief and attitudes that you hold about yourself and your abilities. It also influences how you approach challenges and setbacks. So there's two types of mindset. I've mentioned the growth one already multiple times. Now, if you go back to other episodes in season one, I talk about Carol Dweck's Fixed mindset and growth mindset. I'm not going to talk about that too much here, but for the purpose of explaining growth mindset and fixed mindset is believing in your abilities and intelligence are static and unchangeable. You don't want to change. You want to stay with the way it is. And this is where I feel as though I thrive in helping people because I transform their mindsets over a period of time into a growth mindset. And how I do this sometimes is through obviously coaching, one on one coaching, and journaling. I make my clients journal a lot. And there's a process of a series of activities that help the person get clearer and they get clarity in what they're doing, but also changing the mindset. We really can't get to achieving that goal or getting clarity if we can't shift the mindset. Those two things need to go together. Now, when it comes to emotional intelligence, this is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as how you are affected by the emotions of others. Very important to note that there. Now, there's four main components when it comes to emotional intelligence. The first is self-awareness. This is recognizing your own emotions and their impacts. The second is self management. This is controlling your emotions and adapting to changing circumstances. The third one is social awareness. Now, this is understanding the emotions of others and showing empathy. Empathy is important. And I'll talk more about empathy later. And now the fourth one is relationship management, building and maintaining healthy relationships. So when we combine emotional intelligence and mindset, it can create a huge transformation that develops into what we like to call, as coaches, EI. And so the EI is emotional intelligence, but it's enhanced by your growth mindset. I wish there was a different way or a different verb or language that we can use. But what can you expect, right, when you start to implement emotional intelligence and mindset together? What are some things that you can find that change in you as an individual when you start to practice a growth mindset and you start to become aware of your EI? I'll tell you. You can find improved resilience. So that means you bounce back from setbacks with a positive attitude. Your relationships are enhanced. So you can create communication more effectively and empathetically with others. You can also find a boost in your performance, your approach to challenges with confidence and determination. There's also increased self-awareness. Now, understanding that your strengths and areas of improvement when it comes to self-awareness, and then also the ability to interact and engage with people in settings where you're now realizing, oh damn, they just got um, they've got a fixed mindset. I don't want to be around that. Like, how do you change that? So your awareness, your spatial awareness, but also your awareness of those around you and your behaviors transform. And it's life changing. Who doesn't want that? So, what do we do that are actionable steps when it comes to cultivating a growth mindset? So, one thing I always like to tell people is that you want to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Nothing in life is ever easy. As we know, as you become an adult, or if you're an adult, or you're still trying to live in like your non adulting phase, life always has challenges. And no matter where you are in that journey, you're able to then use your mindset to pivot easily. And when you have emotional intelligence, you can operate on a smoother transition to allow yourself to continue to overcome certain obstacles in your life. That becomes lifelong growth and development. And I don't know of a better way to feel better in that headspace and feel so much self-aware of how you can accomplish things. The other thing that's important is to replace negative self-talk with positive affirmation. I have I'm looking around. If you're watching the podcast, I'm looking around because I have one tool that I use as a positive affirmation, which are these cards. I do not get paid for this. So, Intelligent Change, if you want to come around and give me a affiliate link that I can get a commission for, I will take it. Intelligent Change is one of the companies that I work with to use journaling for my clients. I'll tell my clients, here's the journal you need to buy. The journal usually includes the prompts. I'll work with my client with it. And then there's freehand journaling that does not include prompts. But these cards, these affirmation cards, if you use them the way you're supposed to, they're typically are a weekly dose of self-love, self-care, and mindfulness. And they're made as a tool to help you feel closer to yourself, to help you see that you can achieve certain goals, you can achieve certain tasks. I keep them on my desk. I usually give one of these with my clients every time we meet. So we'll shuffle the cards and we'll go through one. The last one I had was today I will take one step in the right direction. I always feel that affirmations and gratitude as well, are key to a life that is healthy, positive, and one that you can ultimately overcome any challenge. Period. I mean, that's just facts. Um, the other thing I will say when you have a growth mindset is that you value failure as a learning experience. I always tell people that when you fail, that's success because now you're able to adopt that failure and take that failure to apply it to another experience. That's just growth. And so I know we've been talking a lot for the last 30 minutes, but I really want to make sure there's a couple of things that stand out before we wrap things up here. Um, when we go deep into developing your emotional intelligence, the practice of self awareness is key. So, practicing mindfulness to stay present and aware of your emotions and keeping a journal to reflect on your emotional responses. Now, I mentioned that I do this with my clients and I come up with different strategies depending on the person. I would say if there's any journal that I would recommend for anyone, I'm trying to see if I have it here on my desk. I do. It is called, and this is also a journal from Intelligent Change. It's called the 5 Minute Journal. It has prompts that walk you through how to embrace a more positive mindset, how to lead with gratitude, how to become more aware of yourself, your emotions, your feelings, your surrounding, how to live life more fulfilled and get clarity. I mean, here's the thing, like I'm a coach, a life and career coach. I'm going to tell you to buy the journal. I would say if you're looking to work with a coach, buy the journal and then reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? I want to connect with you because I've listened to your podcast and I started journaling and I need to go deeper into this. Can you help me? The answer to the question is absolutely, I can help you and I would love to help you. Really, more importantly, though, all of this is free coaching at its core. But from a perspective of how do I work with my clients, these are the practices that I use. On the social awareness piece with emotional intelligence and what the reflection of that is practice active listening to understand other people's perspectives. There's so much you can learn from other people and also be a sounding board, be empathetic, be able to acknowledge people's feelings. We're humans. It's so important that we recognize where people are. And if we meet people where they are, we can be so much better humans and we can be more encouraging and embracing them. In relationships, so I know that I use this really long example about communication or relationship, but you want to build trust and open and honest communication. Try to find resolving conflicts that can be mutually beneficial for both parties. It's important to exercise your emotional intelligence and mindset in any way, shape, or form that you're ultimately needing to grow. The only way you're going to overcome challenges and that you're going to achieve clarity in your life is by having a growth mindset and practicing emotional intelligence. Period. I can't stress that enough. Before I let you go today, I want to leave you with a quote. I love doing this because I feel like it is one of the things that either people can take with them, or it's something that I feel like you can always come back and listen to. But for today's quote, this is from Lao Tzu, and this is: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." I think that speaks for itself when it comes to everything we've been talking about today, especially with what I started talking about in the beginning. Just remember, what if? What if you took one step today, and what could that look like 6 months, 8 months, a year down the road? What if? Having said all that, please visit my website, Coaching for Millennials, where you can download a free guide that I've created for you that has two, not just one, two exercises to help you understand and overcome your challenges, but also an exercise on emotional intelligence and mindset. So go to my website, Coaching for Millennials. You'll find that there the minute you hit the website. And if you're ready, and when you're ready to connect with me as a coach, I'm here for you. All of my coaching packages are on my website, so you can visit the website anytime you want. There's a, what am I saying? About the pricing. Wow, I'm a loss for words. How does that happen to me? I go to about talking for 30 minutes and then I forget what I'm going to say. There's a price breakdown, meaning, okay, how do I say this? This has to be additive, friends. Um, let's try this again. And when you're ready to start coaching and when you're ready to connect with me for coaching, visit my website for all of my coaching packages. Some of those packages that you'll see there obviously have a higher ticket price. Coaching is not cheap, but also you'll notice that every package has a length of time that you're spending in coaching. The most common and the most purchased package is the Transform package, which provides you with 26 sessions. When you divide that up, that's just about a year's worth of coaching if you're doing it biweekly. I also take payment plans. So if that sticker shock is like, shit, I don't know if I can afford that, just know that every package, not just the Transform package, has a payment plan. And there's also packages for just career coaching. So enough said about that. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you have an amazing day. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for spending your day with me in 30 minutes of it or plus. And I appreciate you all for joining on the fun. Have a good one. Bye.